So how many of you have ever had sugar or peanut butter? Now, you all probably have, except the thing that you haven't probably thought about is how you get those things. And that's through extracting. So today I'm going to tell you about the history of extracting, the types of it, and how to extract. And the importance of this is because a lot of nutrients that you get comes from foods that are extracted. So the history. Lots of you know about hunter-gatherer kinds of things, like you've heard that term before, but what you don't know is that it's actually was gathering first, and then came extracting, and then hunting developed from that, and then scavenging and then foraging came after that. Now our ancestors started doing it, and so they basically invented it. It wasn't necessarily a fun thing to invent, because if you think about it, like getting honey from bees back then, they had to be smart to try and like lure the bees away from the hive and then extract it, or they would just all get stung. And so archaeologists speculate that humans may have learned how to eat cashews from a little creative monkey. That's not in the right spot. 7,000 years ago, and that was from my blog. And then different tools used. There was there's a different like a hammer head, and that's all from a part of Stone series. And by 650 AD, China had their plantations of sugarcane. And so this is another thing that like plantations soon developed then after like tools were made, and that's like another tool that is used. First was who managed to find that plants were civilizations from New Guinea, who some 10,000 years ago successfully domesticated sugarcane. So then like it also, this was from how sugar is made, and so that also kind of shows like that sugarcane can be domesticated, and so like different things can be domesticated, and then from that like you'd extract. So honey, lots of you know that honey has to be extracted in order to eat it. It depends on the weather. If it is hot and sunny, taking off the honey is very easy. We use some stinky stuff called honey rubber, and the bees leave the hive. Then we take the honey out. That was from my interviewer, and so it kind of helps show that back in the olden days, it was really hard to extract because they didn't have things like honey rubber. And then sugar is the next one that I chose. There's lots more types than what I have listed, and it is to save a percentage of the lost sugarcane juice, and this was from a patent. So this was a machine that helps extract sugarcane juice. And you can do it without the machine, but this just helped to save the loss of it. Now I'm going to move on to nuts. So there's many different kinds of nuts that are extracted. One of them is cashew, the next one is tongue. This one, the tongue nut though, is not used for eating because it's poisonous. The fruit of the tree provides an oil that's considered one of the most powerful drying agents, and it's used in paints and varnishes, printing inks, and made paint more water resistant. And then coconut can also be, but this one, instead of extracting the meat, it's oftentimes used for the like milk of it. And you can use a grater for the coconut, but that will take days. And so that was from one of my videos that I watched and learning how to. And then the last one is acorns. And now that we've talked about acorns, we can move on to how to extract acorns. So first you have to do is find a good nut, and then you have to dry them. So in this video he showed them all lying out in the sun to dry them. And then you have to break the nut, and that can be, you can do that using like the hammerhead stone that I talked about earlier. And then extract the nut, so just like taking it out, and then you can eat it from there, or he even goes on further to turn it into like a milk, and like milks the nut.
It doesn't have to cost any money. When you look at an acorn, you'll notice that there is a hard point at one end. This is style based. And what I'm going to do very easy. Just let the hammerstone drop onto the acorn, and because these acorns have been dried, they come out of the shell very easily. All I'm gonna
And in this video, he also it's not going.
Just here. You press the mouse, press it over. It's on the screen.
He also gave this quote: the first thing that we need to understand is that not all nuts are created equal, and that some have defects, and so that's kind of goes along with how to find the good nuts. So now that you know the basics and you understand what extracting is more, through the history, the types, and how to, and now that you know all of that, you can think about extracting in your day-to-day lives and thank your ancestors for it.